Hello everyone, my name is Kasabe, and it's been a while since I've done a tips video for creating logos, and one of the things that I started to do yesterday was some gradients, which I don't really have much experience with, and a couple people on Reddit were asking me how I accomplished this, and first and foremost I just want to thank my friend Spagoo. He's also a logo creator on Reddit, and a lot of his advice kind of helped me to get to this point, or at least start to get a handle for how to do things. So I will show you guys the logos that I did yesterday. It was the Orlando Rays, which I believe was a affiliate for the Devil Rays. I'm not sure if they exist anymore, but I had two logos. So the first one, loaded up here, was the hat logo like this. And as you can kind of see, there's the O that kind of goes from like blue to yellow over the course of a few colors. This one was by design supposed to be a little bit blocky, which kind of helped out my design since I had a little experience with what I was doing. But as you can kind of see here, I have this little gradient sheet, I guess I'll call it that, kind of covers most of the canvas. And what you do, or what you can do at least, is just kind of put a mask tool over it. And I kind of went about this a couple different ways. But first, let me load up the other logo that I did, because I approached it two different ways. This one, as you can see, is a little bit different in the fact that it's not just one letter. That was the O. I had to do it across like the entire script that says Orlando Rays. Still keeping the same gradient though, as you can kind of see where it says 2 through 16 right there. Just kept the same colors. So first, let me ungroup this and show you how I constructed it. So first, you go to the gradients tool. Use this one right here since it's kind of like left to right, as opposed to the one that's kind of like at a diagonal angle. And you just select a color, use the copy stamp tool, and just go across. And as you do that, progressively, I usually use this preset color thing here, progressively just change from like one color to the next until you have this wide square thing that's enveloping the whole canvas. Group those all together. So let me group these back up here. And then what I did is I pieced together the letters using the mask tool bit by bit. So you'll start to see here, first I added this little slash line to separate the Orlando from the Rays. Kind of got most of the canvas too, because if you don't get the stuff on the sides here, it will show up with part of your gradient at the top once you upload the logo. So you want to make sure that everything is covered above to the sides wherever you're not working on your art. And then from there, I just had to piece together these little letters bit by bit. So I have like the curves here for the O, that part to kind of even out the sides. And as you can kind of see here, I just did it piece by piece for the entire text. Once I was done with that, I had to also add the black outline, which I did a different way. Let me ungroup one of these here to show you how I did that. So for this one, I just went around with line and curve tools, and I just kind of put them in front of like where the edges were for the gradient as best as I could, and made it look as clean as I possibly could. So you can start to see I just have like the outlines there in black. So the gradient could be whatever you want, honestly. So if I wanted to change this up right here, I kind of didn't try to do that. The white I usually just have as a background so everybody can kind of see, but same rule applies if you just want to do a solid color. But let me just add like a red or something here. You can do it with one color, you can do it with multiple colors. That's the beauty of like the mask tool, is if you do piece it together like using this method, you can kind of just change it to a different color. If you see something like this already on the vault and it's constructed this way, you can also like have one on each side like this. You just have to make sure that the mask covers both of them by grouping them together like that. So that's how I accomplished that variety. Now if I go back to the first logo, which is the hat. Now this one, you can kind of see there's like a green outline and a white outline. So first what I did is I constructed those two because I knew I'd have to put the gradient on top of that. And what was really nice about this is once you get to the gradient part, you just use the mask tool, ungroup it here, and you just kind of use the two O's that I constructed here as a guide, and you just mask all around it. Part of the tricky part is I had to like add the green outline, so I had to mask and guesstimate where like that little green meets like the gradient in the white right there. So that's just all guesswork by hand. But as you can kind of see, I just went around, did all the edges, did the interior here too, and that's how I kept this gradient with both of the outlines. So a couple different methods. Like I said, I'm really new to this in terms of gradients. I'm sure there's a cleaner way to actually construct like this part right here with the little rainbow that I did. But again, like the Orlando Rays one that I did had like 15 different colors. So trying to put them all together without it making it look blocky would have been difficult. I feel like most people who do gradients only use like a couple colors. They just transition from like one on one side into a different color on the other side, and it just kind of blends in the middle. So, but that is how I did the gradients thing. Also, a cool tip that I haven't shared yet either, I got a couple questions about it as well, is when you go from logo to logo, or actually a better way of explaining it would be if you download a logo from the vault and you want to take the team colors and create them and match like the logo that you just downloaded, how do you do that? Well, I found a really handy tip that I feel would help out a lot of people for this, and that is as simple as going into the logo like here. So if I want to copy this green, actually I'll use the O so it's a little bit more defined here. So go to the color in the logo that you want to use for your team color, and here's how you can match it. First, just hit X, go to Insert New, create a shape of the same color right in front of it. It's going to use the same color. Go to Change Color, and you're going to want to go to the Color Blender. Now, once you create this new shape, no matter where it was on the color blender before that, it's going to make it this color because you just created a new shape with that color. That is what the tool is focusing on right there. So once you do that, just hit X one more time. And now say if I want to change this O right here, I'm loaded onto that color. So as long as you don't create a new shape each time, you know, if I try to do this, obviously it's going to be white now. But as long as you keep this and create a new shape, go to change color, hit X as soon as this screen pops up in the color blender, keep it. You can change this to green. You can change like this thing to green, I guess. Anyway, so that's how you do that. And the neat thing is too, I don't really know, I haven't really tested this with much success. It doesn't really carry over to like when you're doing the jersey creation thing, which is kind of lame, but there is a menu called favorite colors, and once you've used a color, it keeps like 20 of these each time you like select a new color in the same login session, I guess. So if I were to log out of my PlayStation right now and load it back up, these favorite colors would not be here. So keep that in mind when you're doing logo work or trying to adjust your team colors. It's only going to be here the one time. So this method is very handy for when you're going to change your team colors, or at least try and match like a logo that you found on the vault as best as possible. Just create a new shape, go to the color blender, and you can change it from there. So that'll about do it for this edition of my tip video. As always, if you guys have any questions about certain things you want to learn a little bit more about, or any tips that will help you get started on creating logos, anything like that, just feel free to contact me on YouTube, Reddit. My name is Kasabe on Reddit there. Just we have a MLB the Show logo sub, so you can post your creations there. You can post questions, anything that you want. It's a really active community, actually. I've been surprised. I created it a couple years ago, and it's, last I checked, at 2,200 subscribers, which is almost a 30th of the people who actually play and participate on the MLB the Show base Reddit. So a lot of people are interested in this thing, which is really shocking. This is something I just used to do as a hobby and help people out for free, and now it's kind of evolved into this thing where people can share, collaborate, do commission work like I do. I've been very lucky, especially during this time of the year or just the situation at hand with COVID, being able to continue to support myself by doing stuff like this. But I really enjoy talking to people about logos, sharing my tips, helping other people out with their teams. So whatever you guys want to throw at me, go ahead. I'd be happy to help you out. Otherwise, that'll do it for this logo tip video, and I'll see you in the next one.